You're listening to the Limitless Broadcasting Network.
What's your favorite scary movie?
What's the Boogeyman?
You hang up on me again, I'll cut you like a fish, understand? It's showtime.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to You Can't Kill the Boogeyman podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Robby.
And I'm Sammi.
And welcome to the episode. But before we get into this, let's do some bantering for a second. You're probably, for those of you that can actually see me in this video, you're like, oh, you have a 50-cent shirt on and a 50-cent hat. Well, last night, I literally went to West Palm Beach. Drove there, saw the 50-cent show, the Last Lap tour. He brought out, it was Jeremiah, Busta Rhymes, and 50. Let me tell you, it was the dopest show. I've been to a lot of concerts. I think when it comes to like rappers, I put Nelly first and then 50. But they go head to head. It was so cool. 50 put out bangers after bangers after bang. When I say bangers, I'm talking about like one cool track after another, just like boom, 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 back and forth. So when I got there, I was like, I'm definitely going to get a shirt because, you know, this is his last lap tour. So you don't know if he's actually going to come back. So we're celebrating Get Rich or Die Trying 20 years later. So if you get a chance to go see him in tour, definitely do it. It is well worth the money. It is hype from soon as they touch the stage to when it ends. It's so much better. It's so cool. So cool. There's no disappointment. 50, Yayo, Tony Yayo. Sammy doesn't know anything about this, but Tony Yayo, Uncle Murder, they definitely put on a good show. I guess that's a new G unit, right? So, but I could talk to you guys all day about this, but yeah, that's why I'm wearing this. Super cool show. I should have bought 2 shirts, but I was like, now I'm getting greedy. I got the hat and I got the shirt, and I was like, what are we doing here?
Yep.
But yeah, I wanted to let you guys know, cool concert. If you guys get a chance, go check it out. Yeah, and it was so much fun.
I'm glad you had fun.
Well, thank you for hooking it up for me. So today, we are talking about Lost Boys: The Thirst.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Let me tell you, when we were actually watching this show, I just feel bad for the franchise. That's all I could say. It's kind of like pulling teeth a little bit.
Honestly.
Because you have the first movie, banger. Straight banger, right? And then you get to the last one, The Thirst, and you see how hard the franchise fell. And you're just like, this was a cool franchise. How did this happen?
Yeah.
I mean, I know the Coreys had their tragic story and they had their drama behind the set scenes and everything like that, but they're not the only ones that made up this movie. That's just a portion of it. Why didn't all the other cast come back? Well, we know all the vampires died, so that's why they couldn't.
Yeah.
But David,
part of it.
He could have came back.
Michael,
yeah. I'm sorry, Michael.
Maybe David. I mean, you know.
We didn't. Yeah, David probably could have came back. I mean,
They could have probably worked their way around that.
You were saying that they you didn't actually see him get stabbed, but Michael could have. I'm trying to think of his the actor's actually name, but I can't think of it right now.
I can't remember
the actor that played Michael. Jason something.
I can't remember.
I saw him at actually Spooky Empire, and I was like, "Hey, that's you.
Mm-hmm.
That's you."
That's right. I forgot.
And he looks so much different from Lost Boys 1 to... And our fan just died.
I literally just gave up its life as you're sitting here.
You should turn that off
That's
so it doesn't like
omen.
spark.
Hold on. Is that an omen?
We're gonna have to get a new fan.
Guess we'll add that to the list of things to do.
Lost Boys cast. Cast. Patrick. Jason Patrick. That's his name.
Okay.
Okay, so the name of so Michael is played by Jason Patrick. So when we're watching this thing, Michael could have came back.
Mm-hmm.
In this show, they said his brother was turned, and one of the Frog brothers had to get rid of him because he was turned.
Yep.
But this franchise fell super hard.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my pre-take on it. Let's get Sammy's. Let's dive into that.
You just want to dive into it? All right. Okay, so for the description of this movie, multi-arrow crossbow, check. Holy water grenade launcher, ready. Stake shooting M134, got that too. Edgar Frog is locked and loaded for his bloodiest badass battle yet with the undead. Is it though? I mean, is it grosser? I mean, all of them have progressively gotten a little grosser because of the times.
Yes.
But is it the bloodiest badass
battle?
No, I don't think so.
Definitely not.
So this one is rated R for some drug content, sexuality, nudity, language, and strong bloody violence. Genre, of course, is horror. Director is Dario Piana and producer Basil Iwanick, Philip P. Goldfine, and David Wicht. Writers Evan Charnov and Hans Rodenoff, who I'm pretty sure didn't Hans do the last one as well?
Yes.
I believe, yeah. Released on October 12th, 2010. And again, this was a DVD.
Straight to DVD.
Release. Yeah, DVD at this time, yeah. So it was a DVD release. It was not in theaters at all, just like the last one. Its runtime is 1 hour and 22 minutes, and production companies are Thunder Road Pictures and Hollywood Media Bridge. It has a 0% rating from the critics on Rotten Tomato. Second one.
0%.
We're now at number 2 for having.
So the last one had a 0% as well.
Yes. Yes. And
the Tribe.
And this one has a 33% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes and is a 5 out of 10 on IMDb.
Jesus Christ.
Cast. We have, I'm going to only name some of the more relevant ones. So we have Corey Feldman back as Edgar Frog, Casey B. Dolan as Zoe, Tanit Phoenix as Gwen Lieber, and Jameson Newlander as Alan Frog. But
those are the most relevant.
So yeah, I do have a couple trivia things for you. Not too much for this movie. This one, unsurprisingly, was less successful than the previous film, only earning $907,000 plus within the first 2 weeks of release, while The Tribe earned $3.5 million.
So I'm surprised it actually earned that much money. So what do you
I
think,
think-
people are like, oh, we bought this DVD and then they learned how terrible it was and they're
Yeah,
like,
I
don't,
think that's
don't
what
do
happened. I
it.
think
Don't do it, bro.
I think what happened was the Tribe came out and everybody was like, "Oh, it's a sequel to the Lost Boys, and we love the Lost Boys." And
You have
that was still very
nostalgia.
early. You know, you see the DVD; it's a straight to DVD. There were probably some ads for it, you know, but it's not like now where you really like know what you're getting into. You
Right.
don't know, so you bought the DVD. And then I think this one came out and people were like, "Oh no, I know what you did on the last one." So maybe they 2010. So you could have still went to like Blockbuster or any
or Redbox
or a movie rental. I can't remember, like a video.
Blockbuster.
No, not besides Blockbuster, but you know, there's
Movie
some of those
gallery.
Other, movie gallery. There we go. You know,
Hollywood,
like other options.
Hollywood Video.
Something similar to that where you could have rented it instead of buying it this time, and then you're like, "Well, I'm not going to buy it because it's not good."
Right.
It's a good possibility. Let's see. Oh, okay. And despite turning down a role in the film, Corey Haim announced he would take part in a 4th installment, but he died before anything could come of the project.
So you're talking about the other Corey?
Yes.
Okay.
So he had already said I wasn't interested in this movie, but I would be back for a 4th one, which is never, I mean, it's never going to be a thing at this point.
Well, do you think that's why they didn't do it, is because he died?
I feel like they wouldn't have done it anyway because this one performed so badly.
And we don't.
I mean, $907,000 in its first 2 weeks compared to 3.5 million. I mean, that's a huge, huge percentage drop.
Yes.
If you look
Any
at it.
studio is going to look at that and be like, "You guys can go fuck yourselves." There's no way
they're gonna do it.
There's no way I'm going to
Unless
greenlight
it's
another one.
Some sort of true reboot, and it has a great story behind it, and you can really sell it. Which I'm sure there's someone out there who could really realistically do
Another Lost Boys.
Yeah, like some sort of a reboot of the franchise, but maybe still bring back in Corey Feldman as his character as like, you know, a brief appearance.
Yeah.
I feel like you could maybe do it, but it has to have the right story. So
it'd be cool if Jason Patrick would come back.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like maybe have some sort of like brief appearance by some of them, but it's a new story.
And even though he is older,
Mm-hmm.
they can regress him digitally.
But he's not a vampire anymore because they killed.
You know what? You're right.
Right? Because they killed his head vampire.
You're right.
So he was a person. So he would be older.
He could be older.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that they cured him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he could come back to the franchise as is and be like, all right.
Exactly.
It would be cool if we got Star.
Mm-hmm. Like bring back some more people.
Laddie, you know, the attack of the Eddie Munster.
Mm-hmm.
And Corey, not Haynes, but Feldman, to come back.
Yeah.
And even the other Frog brother.
Yeah.
I could see that being a good movie with the core cast. But again, it would have to be story.
Yes, because that's what's lacking in Lost too.
And I feel like this is what you get when you want to go into production on a show, but your script is not all the way put together. Or you have to change it during development and you don't have time to develop it thoroughly. And you're just like, oh, just shoot. Let's do this. This is what, that's big nightmares for studios. So I can understand this. Like for all of my production people out there, you can understand this as well. This is why people in Hollywood are like, the story has to be so right. You know that on average, when you submit a script, that script is reworked 36 times.
That's crazy.
Minimum.
Wow.
Just to get it ready to even be considered to be greenlit.
That's insane.
Can you imagine writing 120-page script over 36 times?
No.
You would give up on it. You'd be like, fuck this noise. You'd be like, fuck this noise.
Like, I'm not interested in doing this anymore. No, thank you.
But we don't actually know the budget on this. Like, we don't know. So let's dive into your take.
Well, I haven't even finished doing my trivia because you interrupted me.
I'm
and
sorry.
You started going off on a tangent.
I apologize.
So would you like me to finish my
trivia?
trivia?
Apologize, listeners. I'm jumping the gun.
Anyways, so This is the final installment of the original Lost Boys trilogy, and it was supposed to have a follow-up trilogy featuring the Frog brothers fighting off werewolves,
Okay.
which we talked about, and a TV series, all of which Corey Feldman and Jamison Newlander were to return. But Warner Premiere, the studio behind the latter two sequels, went bust, and all the Lost Boys franchise plans were dropped. So that's another reason why nothing came about it, because also Warner Premiere is no longer a thing.
So that means anybody with deep pockets could go to these production companies and say, let me buy the rights.
Mm-hmm. But again, you have to have a good story before you
Right.
move forward with it.
Exactly.
So here's a more fun trivia.
We don't know how to talk
Oh
today.
God!
It's okay.
After Edgar is thrown into the comic book shelves, you can see a copy of Lost Boys: Reign of Frogs as he starts to get up. So they did a whole comic book. There's like a comic book thing out there series for this as well that you could look into.
So if you're a big Lost Boys fan,
Mm-hmm.
there you go. Just like Angel
And Buffy.
and Buffy, you can actually get the comics. Like, right, you know how Angel ends
Mm-hmm.
and they're battling? The comics actually pick up to let you know what's going on next.
Yeah.
And that's what I think that would be cool too.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I bring that up is because Lost Boys spawned Buffy.
Mm-hmm.
The vampire makeup. So
Yeah,
it's
they were
all
inspired by
basically
that. Mm-hmm.
the same universe.
Yeah.
So that's why I bring up Angel and Buffy.
Mm-hmm. Due to poor critical response to Lost Boys: The Tribe being too different from its predecessor, that is why Corey Feldman was promoted to a main character in this one. So that's why he's the main guy in this movie. And when shooting vampires with a minigun, the words, "It's time to meet Old Painless," are said. And Old Painless was the name of the minigun used in Predator. So there's a little tie-in for you. But that is literally all I have, because people just do not care about this movie, which makes me sad because
it fell from
it had
grace.
potential. And I mean, I still feel like Corey Feldman came at it the same way that he did even as a kid, you know, all those years ago in portraying his character, but it was not interesting.
Like when we were watching the thing,
boring.
Like I had to remind myself, oh, we're watching a movie.
Yeah.
It
took us 2 nights to finish.
Don't play on your phone. You're actually watching a movie for the podcast.
But you really didn't miss anything. It just, like, it had elements of the story that were interesting. And then at the end, we literally talked about the werewolf thing because he talks to his bookstore girlfriend about what he read about werewolves. And she's just like, oh, interesting. And then they do like that thing with her eyes.
Right.
And we're like, oh, I wonder if there was supposed to be more. And now, you know, there was. But I don't know. I almost wish like that storyline too. Like I wish there would have been more of a build up to that. Versus him just like saying, oh, I read this thing. And she's like, oh, yeah. Like, why couldn't you do more of like a tease of what she was throughout the entire movie?
Really, Lost Boys was the first Underworld.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Underworld?
No.
Like back in the 2000s, they had werewolves and vampires fighting each other. Lycans. That's something we'll cover on this, but this was kind of the spawn of that franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm connecting this.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like there were, like I said, there were elements that were there to build the story. I mean, they had like the superhead vampire they were going after, and they had that twist with the lady that hired them actually wanted to become a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
And so she lured, apparently Edgar Frog is like the worst of the worst for vampire hunters. So they wanted to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I was gathering, right?
Right.
This,
yes.
Which was very interesting as a storyline, but it just wasn't executed in the best way. And we hate to say it because I don't really like to bash people in their art and their craft, but the acting was just...
You could tell it was a B movie. It wasn't even a B movie.
It
was
felt
actually
like when you go to like the independent films, you know, around here. And no offense, because these people are
professionals.
They're coming up in the world, like the independent movies, you know, like the ones around here, the locals.
Yeah.
Like some of those actors are still learning their craft and still honing it in. So when it came to this, I was like, these people just seem like they needed like a little more time to get there.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you should have gotten a little more direction or coaching, something. I mean, Corey Feldman was fine because he was this the cheesy, over the top. It's like a dark humor thing that they're going for. I don't think it translated super well, but Corey Feldman was fine as always. I didn't see any issues with him. He played that character over the top as he had.
I think that character was written for him specifically.
Yeah.
And I don't think you could have somebody else come in and say, okay, I'm going to do it this way.
And that's what kind of bums me out. Is like, you have this whole movie focused around Corey Feldman as Edgar Frog, who is on his own a pretty funny character, who takes himself so seriously, which works well. But the universe and the story built around it just didn't
make sense.
Yeah, it was just missing something. So honestly, like Halloween rewatches always will include Lost Boys, the very first one.
The first Lost Boys.
But probably not any of the other two. Unless we do a revisit, but I just have no interest in rewatching them.
Well, realistically, we watched this for you guys. We wanted to let you guys know how it was because, again, I'm a big fan of the first Lost Boys. It is just
so
the music. Fun. It's just on point.
They did have better music in this one. Yes. I did say that because it did some callbacks to the original. So, yeah, the music was a lot better in this one.
Yeah.
That is something because they were trying to bring back that vibe of the first one. It's just the story wasn't there.
It wasn't developed. And so this is what happens when you don't. And the one thing I'm disappointed is these are professionals and they should know that to make a picture go, you need to flesh out all your ideas.
Yeah. And
I don't know, like, what producer read the script and was like, yep, this is it. Let's go. I think it was a budget thing.
Yeah. And then I wonder, if that was part of it. And then, like I said, when it comes to the actors on set, I feel like if you're going to be with Corey Feldman as Edgar Frog, who again is this very over the top character, I feel like the others should have very specific directions on how they need to play their characters.
Right.
Either, they had the one guy who was supposed to be the vampire hunter who was like, oh, vampires aren't real.
Right.
He wasn't bad because he was pretty like a caricature.
Right. He was
he was kind of over the top, meathead. Whatever. So he kind of fit
reality TV star.
Yeah.
We're just doing this to fuck around, basically.
Yeah. I think he was a good character and I think he did pretty good and he fit in and he was a good foe to Edgar because Edgar takes himself so seriously and this guy was blowing everything off. So I think that was good. But everybody else, like we just said, the girlfriend, she was a werewolf at the end. But it was 2 seconds of acknowledging that. Where was the rest of the film?
They could have used that while they were fighting vampires.
Yes.
And see, that's another missed opportunity. She could have wolfed out when she was fighting vampires.
And dropped more hints throughout the entire movie, included her more.
Right.
Than they did. I wish they just took another pass.
Right.
On the script.
I agree with you.
Yeah. But that's all I have, honestly, to say about it. Unfortunately.
So, would you recommend them watching this?
No.
No?
Unless you're like a major, huge fan of Corey Feldman and you can ignore the rest of it.
Yeah.
But I don't.
But Corey Feldman is just an odd person in general, in real life.
Yeah.
He does a good job on and off screen of being who he is.
Yeah.
I wonder if he got paid well to do that. He probably did.
Well, he got moved to main character, so
I'm sure half the budget went to him.
Probably.
Because the
At least he made his money.
The Tribe was a $5 million budget. And that still looked like it was a B movie.
Yeah. But the production wise, it probably was better than this one.
Yeah.
The acting and even though I didn't care for the storyline, I think the acting was better.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
Hate to say that.
I agree. So with the Tribe, at least we could actually get through it in one setting, even though it was dumb. Not dumb. It was just slow.
Yeah. Again, and the story wasn't great.
Yeah. So I wouldn't recommend it either. This is our second movie with a 0 rating. I didn't think that was going to be possible. But again, we wanted to cover this. Sorry, it's such a short episode, but this is
There's really not much to talk
all we
about
have.
with this one. Yeah, it's just has all the pieces and just wasn't assembled well.
Right.
Is at the end of the day.
So, one more thing, couple more things before we let you go. We are going to be at 90s Con.
90s Con.
September 15th through the 17th in Tampa. If you are in the Tampa area, come say hey.
Tampa Convention Center.
Yes, that's going to be at the Tampa Convention Center. I will be there all weekend. Sammy will be there on Sunday. The celebrities that are going to be there, it has all of Boy Meets World was going to be there, so Topanga will be there, but Corey doesn't because he doesn't do anything with the podcast.
He just doesn't do conventions. So they're going to have Danielle Fishel, who plays Topanga, Will Friedle, who is
Corey's brother.
Yeah.
Ryder Strong, which is Sean.
Yeah.
Corey's best friend. Oh, I do know this.
Trina.
She's the black girl that
Angela.
The
black girl. Well, she's
dated,
only person of color on the entire show, basically. So, yes, and then,
everybody understands.
Yeah, you're gonna have both parents there as well.
I like him because the dad
Betsy and Rusty
was he was in American History X with Edward Norton.
Yeah,
he's been in a lot of
stuff.
things.
Yes,
and
so is she. She's popped up throughout the years.
Well diverse.
And I believe Bill Daniels is going to be there as well, Mr. Feeney.
Yes.
So yeah,
and his wife is going to be there.
Yeah. Yep. So it's going to be a full
house
group.
Will be there as well.
Yeah, Full House is going to be there. I don't remember. I mean, like John Stamos isn't going to be there,
right?
But I think most of the other cast,
right,
is supposed to be
Joey's going to be there. DJ is going to be there. Stephanie's going to be there, and Kimmy Gimbler is going to be there. And then Family Matters is going to be there.
Yep, the cast of Family Matters, 90210, Saved by the Bell, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which Robby does not care about, but I love Sabrina the Teenage Witch, so I'm hoping some of you out there also love Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Love Melissa Joan Hart, but it's whatever.
Well, I'm hoping some of these people come by and say what's up because they're going to know we're an independent studio. And I'm hoping they're going to see me there and they're going to be cool.
Yeah.
And I want them to know, we're in the industry. We're not on some fan shit, Yeah. Come say what's up.
Yep. I agree.
So that is coming September 15th through the 17th.
Come up fast.
The next one is Spokala. That's also in Tampa Convention Center.
No,
it's not Tampa Convention Center. It's at the fairgrounds.
Yes.
I'm sorry. And that is the first weekend of October. It's like the 4th through the 6th.
Yeah, very first weekend, Friday through Sunday of October.
And they are adding some baller names to the list. Where they're basically going to have a Scream reunion there. And that's going to be cool.
Yes. Super excited about that.
Yeah. So go check. We will be there all weekend. Sammy will be there. I'll be there. So that'll be a good time. We had a blast the first Spokala.
Yes, it was a lot of fun.
In Ocala.
Yeah, this one will be in Tampa this time.
And last but not least, we have Spooky Empire.
Right before Halloween.
That is the 27th through the 29th of October. And they are adding some dope people too.
Yeah, they'll be at the Hyatt in Orlando.
This is the 20th anniversary for Spooky Empire.
Yes. So they've really been naming people in the last couple weeks.
Yeah. And hopefully where you applied for a media badge, even though we're going to be there as a vendor, we wanted a media badge because I want to interview some of these people. And so I'm hoping Spooky Empire approves that. So,
yeah.
But yeah, come by, say what's up. We are launching our streaming service. That's going to be on Roku. I've been busy doing that. I have premium content coming, so please, definitely please sign up. So,
yes,
we're manifesting in the universe that it's going to be great.
Yes, all of it.
All of it.
It's going to be great.
And it is because we are very passionate about what we do. So I'll let you know when that is live.
as far as podcast goes, we finished our second series because we've now finished The Lost Boys. Haven't officially talked about what we're going to do next, but I'm thinking probably something related to the Horror Nights houses, since that would make sense to kind of go through and make sure we've talked about those, since we will be going to Halloween Horror Nights.
You're right.
Very excited. That's going to be starting very soon. September 1st is when it opens, and it runs through like November 2nd, I believe. So we're super excited
What are
to
you
go to Horror Nights.
What are you thinking?
For what?
For the next round of movies, something
well,
related.
Unfortunately, they are going to have a Chucky house, and I am not into haunted dolls.
So
but,
you don't want to do Chucky?
Well, it's going to come around eventually, so we might be doing some Chucky talk coming up. Plus, shout out to Ariel, because she has that weird thing with Chucky. And then
you might have her friend Ariel on the podcast.
And then they have Stranger Things. So I didn't know if we wanted to do any sort of a Stranger Things episode.
We should have Kevin on.
Tied into that. That would be very cool.
Kevin
was on
set. He was one of the police.
Extra.
He wasn't just an extra. He was a police officer in the.
Like, we have his photo back here. You can't really see him, but we have a photo of him on set. So that would be very cool. But yeah, I thought that might be fun. Also, we maybe should bring them back to talk about their sequels.
Yes. And that's
to
something
their
we've been wanting to do.
Fan-made Halloween film, because we keep talking about that, and I figured that might be fun to do closer to spooky season.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of the Horror Nights houses are like their original ideas. Oh, they also have The Last of Us, which is another themed, and we've definitely watched that. So that might be another fun topic.
Or I was thinking we might do the Munsters and get Butch Patrick on here.
I would like to see. We have lots of things we could possibly do, so we'll have to figure out what we want to do specifically, because we do want to talk about the Munsters.
And Butch Patrick said, "Hey, he'd come on the show," and I know you guys like him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll have to decide officially, map out the next month or so, because this is our favorite time of year. Although spooky season is all year for us. Right. Now everybody is.
That's why we came up with You Can't Kill the Boogeyman podcast, because we love it.
Yep. And just to throw in, since we were talking about the cons, always remember right behind us, if you're watching, Mikey, he comes and hangs out every time. So that's a good way to spot us, because Mikey will be there.
So I am super excited to set up for 90s Con, because I doubt anybody else is going to have a Michael Myers there.
Yeah, there will be, I'm sure, other spooky horror related things, but this is not like Spook Alley, not like Spooky Empire, where everybody there is there for the Michael Myers and the Jasons, and we're gonna stick out a little bit.
I'm gonna
I will be there for one day. I'm sorry, I have to work.
No, it's okay, but
I try.
What I'm hoping is this will bring over some of the celebrities and be like, oh, that shit's dope. You know, let's go talk about him. Go talk to him.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So
super excited for that.
But yeah, hopefully you liked this episode. Mm-hmm. We did what we could. We wanted to cover this because I like the franchise. Mm-hmm. So
it is what it is.
It is, yeah. View at your own risk. Mm-hmm. Basically, and if you can, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And if you guys have something you want us to cover, please let us know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
All right, so we will figure out what we're doing, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
You Can't Kill the Boogeyman podcast is produced and hosted by Robby and Sammi Brooksby as part of the Limitless Broadcasting Podcast Network. Post-production and intro by Sammi Brooksby. Follow the show on Instagram at BoogeymanPod. You can also follow the Limitless Broadcasting Company at Limitless Broadcasting, and your horror hosts at Robert 1950 Studios and at The Samalam. We also have a TikTok at 1950 Studios. Email your creepy comments and spooky suggestions to us at boogeymanpod@gmail.com. Don't forget, everyone is entitled to one good scare. Have a horrific week.